Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. This is Women Empowerment Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Carmelle Bias. Oh, we are back in the studio once again on a beautiful day here in Seattle, Washington. Yes, yes. And we are with our guest, Miss Zenovia Harris, CEO of the Kent Chamber here, located in Kent, Washington. Miss Zenovia, how are you doing this afternoon? How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Glad to have you on the show this afternoon here. We are going to go ahead and let me give an announcement here before we jump into our interview this afternoon. Women in Business Expo Group. Oh, we are just totally excited with what's going on this year. The website is amazing. We've been putting together, really working diligently, the team here, to put together a great website that will include membership. There'll be a directory. We're going to do some e-commerce stuff. A lot of great things for small business owners. So for those of you that are interested, definitely continue to take a look. Check out, coming soon, the Women in Business Expo Group. And this is something it is that we've been working on for a very long time here. So really excited for this opportunity to come out and be able to provide this resource, for small business owners. So for those of you that are looking for that extra avenue to maybe earn a little extra income, get your business out there, just let others know what it is that you're doing. You definitely want to contact us, Women in Business Expo Group at yahoo.com. Find out more information and how you can become a member, get your product and service on the site, and just create that additional avenue of revenue for yourself. So we're looking to be able to support and empower small business owners and spread the word about the work it is that we're all doing. It takes a team, a village, to really get the word out there when it comes to being a business owner. So we want to definitely do our part and support one another when it comes to getting the word out, about small business owners and the things it is that we're doing in the community. So definitely continue to check us out, Women in Business Expo Group on Facebook. And also, too, if you have any questions or concern, definitely email Women in Business Expo Group at yahoo.com. Again, I want to go ahead and introduce to the listeners this afternoon our guest. We're going to have a great discussion. It sounds like this lady here, she knows her stuff. Okay, y'all. She knows her stuff. So we want to go ahead and reintroduce to all of you once again, Ms. Zenovia Harris, CEO of the Kent Chamber. We are glad to have you in the studio with us via StreamYard this afternoon. So this is a new kind of technology here that we're using, but glad to have you once again.
Yeah, wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
Yes, yes. Well, let's jump right into this interview and let's get started here. Why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners, a little bit about yourself. Go ahead and give us some background.
Yeah, so Zenovia Harris, I am currently the CEO for the Kent Chamber of Commerce, the first African-American woman to lead the chamber in its 72 plus years. I'm also a serial entrepreneur myself. I'm a Washington State real estate advisor. I am a public speaker where I speak to organizations, mostly education, about DEI and the importance and the effects on our students. I'm also a notary, right? So I am a serial entrepreneur leading the chamber to better days and better resources for our small and minority-owned businesses. I have a bachelor's degree in business management, a master's in public administration, and I'm an avid volunteer. Love to give back to my community, have a big passion for the youth, come from a very diverse background, and just wanted to share that, with folks that I think is really important fact about me is it was my economic status that makes me diverse. It wasn't the community in which I grew up in. It was that adversity that I went through that has led me to where I am today with my education, with my career. And so, you don't let your future, your past define your future. You get to do that all on your own. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Exactly. Yes, yes. No, and we're glad to have you too. Let me ask you this real quickly. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Sacramento, California.
Okay.
Born and raised in Sacramento. Moved here in 1999. Just wanted something different, right? My environment wasn't providing anything for me. And so I decided to go out on a limb with $19 and come to Washington, and it's worked out.
Wow. So you just stepped out on faith and then decided to move to Seattle. Is that?
Yeah, just stepped out on faith. I just was what I could see for myself in my future wasn't that bright. And so I felt like if I separated myself from my environment, that I could make choices on my own. And I didn't have anyone or know anyone that could really influence my choices. So it was really up to me. So I just took a chance on being able to make better decisions for myself.
Wow. Wow. Well, definitely, it sounds like a risk taker there. You are,
Oh, yeah.
which is great. That's, definitely one of the characteristics that we need to have as successful business owners. You got to be able to take some risks too. So let our listeners know, Ms. Zenovia, you mentioned, and I know in your bio that you sent over and everything, CEO of the Kent Chamber. What inspired you to take on that position? I mean, as you mentioned, the first African American woman CEO, what inspired you to say, you know what, I'm going to go for this?
Yeah, it wasn't really the role of CEO at a chamber. I was at my job. I had been there for almost 10 years, and I was at a place where I felt like I couldn't move up. And because of my education and the privilege that comes along with that, I feel like if I'm at an organization where my personal mission no longer matched their mission, then it's time for me to make a shift and make a change. And so when the opportunity came up for a CEO position, it was through a newsletter. It was just through communication online. And I said, you know what, I'm going to apply. But myself and the bias I had against myself, I said, how dare I go from being a manager to a CEO, right? There has to be steps to this. And so I kind of talked myself, because I have a imposter syndrome, right? So I kind of talked myself out of that. And then I talked to all my friends and my trusted advisors, and they said, you know what, Zenovia, go for it. And at its core, being the spokesperson for the business community is really where I should be, because I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been doing that since the age of 19. I was one of those people who sold the perfume in the parking lot, but I took it to the next level. I had an office, I had staff members, all at the age of 19. So I really enjoy entrepreneurship. And so that's what landed me here, was just that opportunity to connect with folks that have a passion for building their legacy for their family, building their brand, and really just taking a lot of risk.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
definitely then at 19 to have such ambition there. Tell our listeners, where does that come from? That ambition that you have? Because that's a very, early age to know exactly what it is that you want to do and to be so passionate about it. Is there, family history there of entrepreneurship or?
No, it was that desire to not be hungry, that desire to not be homeless, that desire to set myself up for success. And I knew the way to do that would be through education. But make no mistake, I didn't go to college until I was almost 30 years old. So for me, it was really about, I didn't want to be in the position that I saw a lot of my family members in. And so I just didn't grow up in a household where, college was important or education was important. I learned from the negative, and I thought, well, I don't want to go down that path, so I might want to try something different. And, when you already start at a very, what I call a low bar, everything is up. So it's just this internal thing that I have. And not to take anything from my sisters who are all, doing great things in their life as well. We feed off of each other for sure. But this is just that pure passion to not be in a position of homelessness and everything that comes along with it.
Yeah. And we definitely, have to fight, that.
Yeah.
Definitely have to fight that. Yes. Let me ask too, as we mentioned in the initial starting out the interview there, you are the first African American woman CEO of the Kent Chamber. How does that feel? Let's talk about that. Because that's very important, to those young ladies that may be in their minds, wanting to know or to be, CEO or to own their own business. What does that feel like? Can you kind of describe that for the listeners?
Yeah. When I really sit in it, it's really just, I'm proud. And I feel proud because there are people the young me would have never known that Zenovia was going to be here. And so to see that example for people is important. And it wasn't really until I had this title, because my education and all that came before the title, but the title for some people means something and it makes a difference. And it really just kind of opens a door. And prior to being the CEO, I didn't look at it that way. I remember when I was writing my compilation book, and I said, well, I don't want to do this until I become a CEO because people won't respect my story if I don't have the title to match it. Wow. And so it just so happens that I went out on a limb and wrote it regardless. And then it turns out that I became the CEO after that. And so for me, it's really just a moment to be proud. Yeah. It really empowers the youth. But to be quite honest with you, I'm the only Black CEO in the state of Washington to run a chamber. So it's not just here in my very diverse community where I live and work and serve. It is throughout the state of Washington. So I feel good about that, to be in that place. And I think that I am setting a great example for anyone coming behind me or beside me. And on another note, I think when the pandemic hit, I received a lot of calls from minority-owned businesses saying, Zenovia, I know you're the only Black CEO. People want to connect with you sometimes just because you look like them, sound like them. And that's when it really resonated with me. Like, wow, there are people that are watching me that I don't even know, and they're reaching out for help because we're the same, right? We share a lot of similarities. And so it's a great place to be. I'm excited to pass it on to whoever, wants to come up next, but I'm here to show the chamber world that that really shouldn't matter. I should not be the first Black woman to lead a chamber anywhere, let alone in Washington State. Wow,
that's it. That's it too. Yes. Go ahead and let our listeners know too. I mean, I know with the position again of CEO, there's got to be maybe some challenges or something there. Let our listeners know, kind of maybe give an example or something of a barrier it is that you've experienced, while working at the chamber.
Yeah. Well, so there's a few barriers. I'll be honest. There's a few barriers. And I think as Black women, we run into this maybe a lot. And so this is not unique to me or being unique to this position. But there are many times I go into a conference of 400 people. There's 3 Black people, and then I get mistaken for the server, or I got mistaken for the assistant to the CEO and maybe not the CEO. Right. And so also I have a passion for
I don't hear anything, Daniel.
She's frozen. Just have to kill time until she fixes it.
Okay. Well, hopefully here, it seems like we're having a little technical difficulty, but we will resume here. It sounds like maybe we'll kind of wait a moment, see if we can refresh here and come back on the air. Here, for those of you that are just tuning in, you're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. This is Women Empowerment Talk Radio, and I'm your host, Carmelle Bias. Oh, we are in the studio again with our guest, Miss Zenovia Harris, CEO of the Kent Chamber. We were here, but definitely looks like we're just having a couple difficulties here. So let's see if we can unfreeze.
Am I back?
There we go. Yes.
Listen.
Yeah. Sorry about that. That was definitely a glitch in the system there.
Yeah, I think that was on my end. So I went ahead and just logged in on my phone. And, that's the beauty of that. You got to be on your toes. You got to be on your feet. And, We are not exempt from technology issues, so I am back and ready. Thank you.
Glad, yes, yes. And we'll just go ahead and continue on here. So, as I read your bio, I know that, as you mentioned also too, you are a business owner. Sounds like DEI, trusted messaging. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
that's a lot to that's a lot to unpack, but I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
a trusted, so DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. When I was at the university, I had the opportunity to be certified as a diversity, equity, and inclusion certification. And so with that, I thought, well, when I go into this role at the chamber, I can infuse that into our mission and our vision and everything we have going on. And so a trusted messenger for me is somebody who, and I talked a little bit about it when I talked about having that, having that title, because I have the title, assumingly now I'm a trusted messenger. But for me, a trusted messenger is somebody who has this lived experience of diversity for whatever reason, right? Whether you're a first generation college student, whether you are an immigrant or you are a woman or first to go to college, whatever that looks like, that person who has actually experienced that is the trusted messengers. So my role as a DEI consultant is to tell these organizations that you have to bring in people that look like and sound like the people that you are either trying to employ, trying to retain, whatever. So trusted messaging really just means it needs to come from the source. And I am a proponent of education. Like I said, I loved education. I worked in higher education for over 10 years. And so I believe in the power of a degree, but I also believe in lived experience and the opportunities that presents. And that real world experience is really how you get people over that curve of learning. It's that, sometimes I'll go in and speak with an organization and we'll just talk statistics. Well, we all know the statistics. We all know that people of color are less likely to be promoted or even called for an interview because of their name on the resume. These are things we know. So I really focus on, once you get those folks into the door, this is how you treat those people. And if you don't, here is from a trusted messenger what it feels like, looks like, and sounds like, so you can recognize it almost instantly.
Awesome. And when did you start this business? How long has it been in existence?
So I've been certified for about 4 years, but I didn't start my business, Zenovia LLC, until last year. And that's because unfortunately and fortunately, the conversation of DEI really didn't come to the forefront for a lot of organizations until after the murder of George Floyd. And so the amount of opportunities to speak were increased. And so I thought, well, that's another business that I can work on. I mean, I will not retire at the chamber. I don't plan on leaving the chamber anytime soon, but I will not retire at the chamber. And my passion is diversity. My passion is getting our youth to a place where they feel like they are worthy, and that they can accomplish whatever they put their mind to. And I want to position myself, when I do make that change, that I have a business to stand on, that and I can be a trusted messenger for communities.
Yes, yes. What I'd like to do too is just real quickly go ahead and let our listeners know, what's the best way to contact you or the Kent Chamber? What's some contact information for those listeners that may be interested?
Yeah, so for the information for the Kent Chamber, you can look us up at just kentchamber.com. We also have a great event that, if you just give me a little grace, I'd really like to talk about. We are having a diversity, equity, and inclusion luncheon on November the 4th. We'll have Commissioner Cho here at Port of Seattle. We'll have Ashley Bennett with Amazon, and we'll have Rose Gunderson with Washington Retail Association. Yes, this is our website. We'll have those speakers. They're doing a panel talking about the importance of diversity within your organization. We also have Idea Project coming in and talking about making sure we're not leaving out disabilities when we start talking about DEI. And so, yes, if you go over to November, you'll see on the first Thursday of each month, we just completed our mayoral debate. As you know, November 2nd is election day. And so we have a choice between two candidates here in the city of Kent for mayor. And so we just hosted a candidates forum, or a debate for them. But the Kent Chamber, kentchamber.com, go to our events page, find something to come in and connect. It's a great way to find new businesses, to find new connections, whether that be with the school district or Boeing, right? You can find that at any Kent Chamber event.
And give that date again one more time for your upcoming event. I believe that you said, was it November 4th?
It's November 4th, Diversity in Business Luncheon. And folks that have heard about the luncheon from this particular show, we will do a 25% discount if they want to register for this. So just go ahead and put Rainier Avenue Radio in the, you'll go over to the right if you're not a member and register there. Go ahead and put Rainier Avenue Radio, and we will get you all registered and set to go.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. That sounds like an event y'all definitely want to check out. November 4th. You can go to the website, sounds like, for more information, find out what's going on there. Let's talk real quickly, too, about some of the services it is that the Kent Chamber offers. Can you list or let our listeners know, what are some of the services, and then if there's any cost at all?
Yeah, so being a part of the Kent Chamber is membership-based service. So I say there's an instant return on your investment. So at our lowest level, it'd be $262. Highest level would be $10,000. The services that are included range from free notary services, free educational courses. We're actually doing a business essentials, like 10-week program for our members, whereas they take 10 2-hour workshops on things like marketing or setting up your business, making sure you're registered as a woman-owned business or a minority business with the state. That's very important. Making sure that you're registered with your city and you have a city business license, things like that. We do monthly luncheons where they're education. We have a variety of committees that you can serve on. So if you have a background in finance and government affairs and education and DEI, we have committees that meet on a monthly basis and ensure that the chamber is going forward with our strategic plan with those aspects in mind, DEI being most important. Some of the other services is just connections. It's really about getting to know your community. Chamber of Commerce, not just this chamber, but all chambers are nonprofit organizations. And so we are grassroots organizations within the city designed to help the small business community. So when you think about where your tax money is going, where your B&O tax is going, that's something that the chamber is really facilitating, making sure, your roads are clean, your roads are safe. Our job is to facilitate these conversations between legislators. We are having in our city, and I'm sure it's not unique to the state of Washington, but we are having a big issue with safety and how the police department is interpreting the new laws that were put out. And so what we did is called a meeting with our legislators, state and local, and the police department to talk about what does that look like for a business owner, So we're really here as a conduit for businesses to move their business to the next level.
Awesome. And that's definitely what's needed, is that resource, that the resource for small business owners. And this is definitely a place it is that us as business owners, we want to check out, we want to go visit, and become a member if needed, to network and to be able to connect with other business owners and stay connected to our community too. Let me ask you too, real quickly, Ms. Zenovia, is there an age limit at all, for becoming a member at the chamber?
No, there's no age limit. And we have what I say, from the Boeings of the world to the Mary Kays, right? They all need something from the chamber, but it boils down to us being able to connect that business with them moving their business to the next level. You might be an at-home business right now, but our job is to get you out of that home into a brick and mortar, owning that brick and mortar, right? So we're doing a lot of work with King County and affordable commercial affordability. So the chamber is really an advocate for affordable commercial property for our business owners. And so, there's no, I'd like to say we do not discriminate when it comes to business. If you have a business or a business idea, the chamber is a great place to start.
Awesome. Sounds like it definitely is too. Yeah. And let me ask also too, mentorship. I come across a number of business owners that are maybe always asking me, Carmelle, where do I find a mentor? Someone it is that I can relate to, someone it is that I can connect with. Is that something that the chamber offers also too? Is it maybe some kind of mentorship program?
We don't offer a mentorship program, but it happens, right? In these natural, organic type relationship. So we gather as a membership probably 100 times, 150 times per year. We have multiple events each year, most on a cadence, like the first Thursday of every month, the third Tuesday of every month, right? And so through those relationships with those business owners, I've never heard of someone saying, no, I don't have time to mentor you, right? We want to connect those businesses. Even if it's a speed networking event, you can come in and say, this is what I'm looking for. I have questions. We have a relationship with Small Business Development Center. So yes, you can have a mentor, but you also can get a direct connection to the Small Business Development Center and have one of their mentors walk you through the process of moving your business forward, writing a business plan, how do you apply for a loan, grants, all of that.
Yes, yes. Also, too, let me ask real quickly, what are some of the partnerships it is that you have at the chamber? Are there any other, corporations it is that you partner with, or other chambers that you're partners with?
Yeah, so we are what I call my sister chambers. So we have the Seattle Southside Chamber, we have the Renton Chamber, and Covington Chamber, and Auburn Chamber. So we're all pretty close, right? You blink your eyes, you're in Covington. You blink your eyes, you're in Tukwila, right? So we have a partnership where we do things throughout the years together. The Renton, the Seattle Southside, and the Kent Chamber do an annual event. It's our equity summit that we do, whereas we bring in nonprofits to solve some of these issues that we have around homelessness, education, and equity within our community. And then we have a voting session where we vote for the best idea. And you know that when you reach down to the folks that are, boots on the ground, those are the people that can help us solve some of the issues that we're facing as a community. So together we come and do that. We have a direct partnership with our school district where we go into the classrooms here in the Kent School District along with business owners and talk about what is it like to be a CEO of a chamber? What if you don't go to college and you want to be a financial advisor? What does that look like, right? If you want to be a real estate agent. So we bring people into the classroom and give them real world experience about what it is. And from there, we do mentorships with those students as well. So that's one of our larger commitments, I would say, or partnerships is with the Kent School District. And we do a lot around manufacturing here in the Kent Valley. We have a partnership with the city of Kent. So we are always open to work with any community, any community advocate to further the equitable distribution of resources to our businesses and our community.
Yes, yes. Well, definitely sounds like some great partnerships it is that you have there at the Kent Chamber, to be able to assist your members there in expanding their business and providing resources again to the community. So that's excellent. Miss Zenovia, I want to thank you again for your time this afternoon, for being our guest on Women Empowerment Talk Radio. And I want to thank our listeners for tuning in to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. This is Women Empowerment Talk Radio. And I'm your host, Carmelle Bias. Until next time.